Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, I'm continuing my Before I Die marathon. I want to try and watch all the films I bought over the years. And I've been doing horror movies every night, pretty much. And one of the first ones I started off with was Ouija, partly because there was only two of them. There's the first one and the prequel. And, of course, I had to pull out my Ouija board. Now, this is like a standard Parker Brothers one, which isn't real. It's not made out of wood or glass or anything. There's no real elements. So, aside from the fact that it glows in the dark and looks cool, it's not going to cause any problems, because I've had some paranormal experiences in my life and I'm quite afraid of ghosts. I don't enjoy ghost movies as much as I did when I was younger. I used to really enjoy them. Now they actually really genuinely scare me, and I don't watch them as often. I prefer slashers and serial killers and you know, people killing people, because you know, you can deal with that. You can't deal with spirits and presences and stuff like that. So on the bright side, the films are much more scary to me now than they were. I do get a bigger scare out of them than I used to, but it's no fun because I'm scared. But yeah, so I do have a Ouija board. I did pull it out while I was watching the film, but A, I'd never use it, B, I'd never use it in my house, and C, you know, it's just plastic. It has to be wood and glass. My understanding is for it to really work. But the films themselves, I watched them in the order that they were based, not made. And I'm glad I did, because the first film is kind of ruined by the second film if you watch them in the correct order. Because the first film just basically sort of says what happened to the people in the first film. So I guess the second film was made out of wanting to see that story and people were going in knowing what the ending was. It's been like 10 years since I watched these films, so I couldn't remember anything except that it was really well done. And I had a vague memory of the second film being based in the 60s and being filmed like it was. Like they had the old Universal logo and stuff like that. And they do a really good job of making it feel like there's even a couple of little film pops and things like that just randomly through the film. Not too much, which makes it really obvious, but it kind of feels like an older film that's been preserved and clean but isn't perfect. So the first film, you're in the 60s, you see a family, the father's died, and the mother is basically using her talents as a medium to make money, but she's still facing foreclosure. And then she brings a Ouija board into the house for some reason. Someone suggests it. She's going to add it to the act, and then her daughter becomes possessed. And there are some fairly scary scenes that did make me jump, and they did a really good job of the girl being possessed. I won't go into it, but it just, you jump and then you sort of it's just no you can feel what's happening. It's so then they play out the rest of it fairly well. Like they don't go overboard with the possession, so it is believable that they took this long to sort of work out what was happening and how to sort it out. They go to a priest, but you do kind of get the shock ending where the people, some of the main characters die, and it is a shock because I didn't remember the first film, and then when you watch the first film, you see that's all very clearly stated in the past and referred to, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it wouldn't have shocked anyone who saw the first film like the year before and then went and saw this, but I hadn't seen either of them for like a decade. So I was kind of shocked, really shocked. And I was like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Everyone who saw, obviously this is mentioned in the first film and I should have known this, but it was sort of news to me. But yeah, the atmosphere, the period they set it in, it's just wonderful. And it plays like, you know, a retro film, so it's really great. Now the first film that I then watched second, it's contemporary. It's not quite as good because the contemporary characters are just not as sympathetic, and it just doesn't have that sort of late 70s, because it feels like a 70s film, although it's set in the 60s. It feels like a 70s horror film, that sort of early slasher before they sort of got into the 80s and, you know, became the really, really trashy slashers. Yeah, you sort of hear referred back to the first film, but it's just, you know, girl plays a board, you know, spirits saving themselves, basically. There's not much to it, but it's still good. It's still done. The direction is done well. The atmosphere is done well. The scares are there. The jump scares are there without being cheesy. There's no cats jumping out at you, but there are things that generally make you jump and yell. And I'm a bit embarrassed because I know my neighbours can hear stuff because the walls are really thin in the kitchen. And I yelled a few times. I'm like, oh, it's so embarrassing. I just hope nobody heard that. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Don't play with Ouija boards. Don't play with them by yourself. And yeah, I'm just glad all these films are so good, and I'm enjoying them as much as they're as good as I remember, and I'm enjoying them as much as I am. And I'm sort of putting together my little list, and I'm just gonna, live off my curated movie collection forever because they don't seem to be making any good films anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna go. For free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.